mission number 8 in our campaign series for Rifles in the Ardennes sees our group of soldiers advancing through the front lines in an attempt to find and eliminate all the enemies on the map. We have a few unique elements to this final mission. The first one being that we will come under fire, or probably come under fire, from off-map. We will also, after turn number 8, we will have off-map fire of our own that we can use against the enemies. We will also have what's known as full squads of enemies. So over on the slightly off camera here up the top is this blue sheet, army reference sheet for the German soldiers, and they have what you call groups, and you have full squad groups. So these will be potentially up to 3 groups of soldiers, all at their full or close to full army point selection. We will also have, what else will we have? We will have double terrain in places as well. Hills are in there, buildings are in there, trees and wooded terrain. It's going to be a tough one, as you might expect for the final game in our campaign. I've done all the pre-map, the pre-mission setup, and I have been reinforced with David here, who is our replacement for Ed, who sadly did not survive the last mission. He's a submachine gunner. We sadly do not have any grenades this turn. We were reinforced, but we were not re-equipped, and so there are no grenades at all on our squad following our assault mission last game. So I've kept the groups the same. Broadly speaking, I've concentrated the machine guns in this larger group with Adam, our leader, and who is now taking over from Greg, who's our assistant leader. And I have placed David, though, to buff up this group of riflemen here, just to provide that extra bit of support in certain places. And as before, I think my tactics are going to be to send the smaller group forward, try and find these enemies while preserving these guys as much as we can for the actual fighting towards, maybe, who knows, we may find that the very first event counter that we reveal, we may find that is our full squad of enemies. We may find it's the last one, who knows. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing to do, as before, is to roll those 3 die and see what we get. No actions. Wow. That's shocking. However, we do have heroic morale for, not heroic morale, local contacts for Hugo, which gives us a free recon point at the beginning, allowing us to re-roll. And there we go, we have 1 action. As with all the games, the videos in this series, the very first one goes into more detail about how these different actions work. So if it's not clear exactly how things work after watching a few minutes of the video, check out that first one. Some more detail is in there. But we will spend our action points and we will move that smaller group forward to reveal event number 4. And event number 4 is roll a d6. On a 1, nothing will happen. On a 2 to 6, a range of off-map fire will before us. On a 5, we have 2 rifle attacks against a friendly group in the lowest numbered stripe. It's going to be this one, so 2 rifle attacks from off-map. And on a roll of a 1, the target of those attacks will be the unit with the lower toughness. As always, we have the same toughness here, so I'll do what I did last time, and rather than roll a die to generate a random target amongst those 3, the unit who has the least buffs and the least skill is going to be our new recruit, David. So he will be the recipient of these 2 off-map attacks. No effect with the first one. Last one is a 5, plus the 1 for the rifle attack. Baseline combat factor is a 6, but we're fortunate in that we're in the woods, gaining a cover modifier, meaning we are not injured in this particular attack. The baseline toughness for all of our units is 6. Okay, rolling then for enemy presence. And on a roll of a 3, there are no presence, no enemies joining us, so we move straight into turn number 2. And we have 2 regular actions. I think what we'll do, move the heavy machine gunners up, or sorry, not the heavy machine gunners, that's a totally separate unit, but the machine gun group and the less well armed group up 1, and then the more lightly equipped unit forward to reveal number 5, which is a roll on the patrol table on the army sheet. So not the full squad group, but another table which gives us a number of units. So not a full squad, but a number of units. And for the Germans, a roll of a 6 is going to give us an enemy armed with a grenade, a rifle and a grenade, plus a submachine gunner on the previous stripe. So that means on stripe number 3, we get a rifleman with a grenade and a submachine gunner when I find them. Okay. With our final action, I think we'll move that group up as well. No, yeah, let's move that group up. Okay. Enemy presence, we don't need to roll for, because we have 2 units on the board. And a roll of a 6 though. What will they do, that enemy group? We don't have a leader, so we'll just attack as normal, but with an added die roll modifier. So the only unit that can attack from these 2 is this rifleman with a grenade. We can't use his grenade because he's at range 1, but he can still attack. SMGs, of course, having a range of 0. So which unit will that rifleman attack? Which group? We'll attack the smaller group, which is this group, and the unit within that group will be the lower toughness number. So they're attacking the new guy again with a 4 plus 1 is 5, plus the 1, that is going to be a suppressed counter placed on David. These are terrain features, not striped terrain as was the woods, so we do not benefit from any cover unless we're actually on the feature itself. Okay, turn number 3. 3 regular actions. Really, we need to, in order to benefit from the fire group with these guys, we need to be on the same stripe as the enemy. Poses risks because we will trigger something here. In addition, these guys, obviously the range is an issue. That's where the reason for this is the range. We have 2 at range 0. And the same with here, we have 1 at range 0 and 1 at range 1. So of course with a range 0 you have to be on the same stripe. Well, let's do that. Let's risk it. We've got a lot of enemies to deal with in a short space of time, even though we're half up the map already, but let's go. Let's take a chance on a roll of a 2. We have a mortar attack. Okay, so the mortar attack is going to attack these guys. Mortars are area weapons, and we have 2 different types of mortar. It doesn't specify which type to use, so I think what we'll do is we will use the heavier mortar, which will be an area attack on all 4 with a base combat factor of 3. We're not in any cover, but rolls of a 3 or more will do damage to most of them. Most of our guys, Adam and John, are veterans, so we would need to roll slightly higher for them. But let's see how it goes actually. Let's do those 2 first to account for that. So Adam and John first, rolling on a 4 or higher, do damage. both are suppressed from that mortar attack. And then finally we have Greg and Hugo, and these will be suppressed on a 3 armor. One of them is suppressed, and I will say Greg is suppressed. Okay, that is shocking. I'm not 100% sure if you can, when you attempt to rally or recover, whether everyone in the group can recover. Okay, you may roll for recovery in any of the suppressed units in the group. It will cost an action point if the leader is present, or a bonus action if the leader is not present. We do have Adam in that group, so Yep, let's try to recover. Okay. Okay, so rolling first for Greg. No, he does not recover. You need to roll a 3 or higher. For John, he's fine. And then finally, Adam, who is our leader, is fine. Okay, awesome. So just Greg being suppressed in that group. Now, when we look through the rules of the game, there is nothing, as far as I can tell, that says you can't recover and then fire. However, in the skills at the back, there is a skill that says you can recover from suppressed and fire in the same turn, and that suggests to me that somewhere in the rulebook is a rule that says you cannot recover and fire in the same turn. Therefore, I think what I'll do is I will use these guys to fire, firing at range 1. Neither of excuse me, neither of Fred or Craig. Craig is a sharpshooter, so he has a +1. Okay, so let's start with him, and we'll fire at the submachine gun. 6 plus his 1 plus the 1 for the combat factor boost gives a suppression on the submachine gunner, and then firing with Fred, who has, Fred rolls a natural 5 or 6, he gets a second attack. He rolls a 6, which will injure and remove that guy from the board. And then a roll of 6. This time he has a reduced combat factor, so the combat factor is 5, 6 plus 1 minus the 1 for the reduction gives a 6 again, which is enough to damage that rifleman. Okay, our actions are over for the turn, and we now need to roll for enemy presence. On a roll of a 1, there's no additional enemies. On a roll of 3, we have attack. So we're just going to attack the nearest group, and the nearest group is here. On a roll of a 6, the attack is aimed at the unit with the higher combat factor. If no damage can be done, then the unit with the lower toughness. Higher combat factor is actually going to be either Hugo or Adam. Hugo has a local contacts buff, Adam has veteran. Adam's probably the more difficult to kill, so let's go for Hugo. A roll of a 5 plus the 1. Hugo is now suppressed also. Okay, turn 4. Rolling for actions. 3 regular actions. Okay, let's see how we go. I really do want to find those enemies, see just how much more of the game. We're about a third of the way through the game. Those enemies are going to be challenging, because when even without knowing what's under those 2 tokens, it's going to be one of these here, and you can tell just by the volume of text just how many enemies and what challenge there's going to be. And when you look at the group, there's at least 3 enemies in each of those groups, sometimes more. So okay, 3 actions. Let's just move, see what this is under here. Number 8. And number 8 says, find the full squad table and create groups 1, 2 and 3. Deploy group 1 on trees on the previous stripe, groups 2 and 3 on the current stripe, leveraging any terrain, remove any remaining event markers, activate group 1. Ooh, okay, that's the worst possible event we could have had. Okay, so our first squad then is going to be an SMG, with a light machine gunner and a rifleman, and he's going to be on, or they are going to be on, I'm going to find the right page, they are going to be on the trees on a previous stripe. Okay, they're in cover. Group number 2 is an assistant squad leader with an SMG plus 2 riflemen. Those guys in group number 1 have got grenades as well. Need another rifleman. There we go. We're going to be leveraging the terrain, so we're going to place them into the terrain. And then finally, group number 3 is just 2 riflemen. Just 2 riflemen, he says. There we go. And they are also going to come onto this stripe with terrain features. In the terrain features, we activate group number 1, which is this group, with our leader, a couple of grenades in there. And this is going to be in addition to a later activation later in the turn. Remember, we've only used 1, well, we used 2 of our actions to move that there. Okay, so what is that group going to do? Remember, they're on a hill as well, so on a 6, that group is going to attack the larger group. There's only 1 group in range. And then the unit within that group they're going to attack is higher combat factor or lower toughness. Higher combat factor and lower toughness is our new recruit down. 2 riflemen. Well, the rifleman and the submachine gunner can shoot. Okay, so let's start with the rifleman. A 3 plus a 1, no damage. The light machine gunner can actually shoot at 2 units, so let's fire first at David. It's 5 plus the 1 for the baseline toughness, except of course remembering now that the German light machine gunners are better than the American ones, meaning there was a toughness of a combat factor of 2, meaning this guy is definitely off the map. 1 more shot from the machine gunner then on a 3, lower toughness again. They're both the same, however Fred is a they both have pretty good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're trying to avoid that, but we can't help it. So 1 of 3 going to shoot with his machine gun at Craig, and a 6 plus 2, Craig is now wounded or suppressed at least. Okay, that was the out of sequence activation for group number 1. Our final action then. I think it would be very sensible to move these guys back and out of the way a little bit. Okay. German actual activations. Rifleman here on a roll of a 1. Rifleman being suppressed will rally. 3+. Yep. He is now a healthy or healthier enemy soldier. This group, which was group number 3, containing 2 riflemen, and both have a grenade, and on a roll of 2 they will attack just from where they are. They will attack the smaller group. Within that group they will attack the lower toughness number, which is, they're the same, so I'm going to say being suppressed already. Craig is the first one to be shot at. Baseline of 1, they're not in cover. Craig is deceased, or at least eliminated. Final one then, no damage on Fred. Group number 2, which is the submachine gunner, on a 1. It simply says rally, otherwise regroup. Group for the rifleman there. If the activated group contains 1 or 2 units and another enemy group with 1 or 2 units is on the same or an adjacent stripe, they merge. We do not have, we have 3 there, so that doesn't happen. Finally, group number 1 activates again, and on a roll of a 5, group number 1 if target group is at range 1, advance and then attack. Otherwise cover. They simply stay where they are, which is interesting. Okay. Moving to turn 5. We will get some off-map cover, covering fire. We'll call in some support, starting mission number 8. Okay. If we can survive that long. Bonus action plus a regular action. 2 regular actions. So I think what we're going to have to do is have to go into some cover and try and survive to get some support from elsewhere. So first action then, bonus action to move here. We'll gain a recon point for that. Next action will be to move the larger group into the building, giving everyone a +2. Final action be to move Fred down into the terrain. No need to roll for enemy presence, so this unit, on a roll of a 2, will attack. He can actually shoot at both, but he can only do damage due to the building cover on this guy. So on a 5, the damage that he does is enough to suppress this group, which was group number 3, and on a roll of 3, no target groups in range, so they will simply cover, hunkering down. It was group number 2 on a 6. Okay, it's telling us to attack, but we cannot attack. An attack with a +1 bonus. Now, if we can't attack, I think we advance instead. I think, top of my head, advance, yeah. So we just simply advance, taking benefit of the terrain as we do so. And finally, group 1 at the top there with the leader in. There's a 4, and on a 4, same thing. No. If anyone's in range, we attack. Otherwise, we cover. So we're just staying where we are and cover. Okay. bashing the camera there. Turn number 6. Let's see how we get on. 3 actions. Decent number of actions today. First thing then, try and recover from suppression. No, let's move first. I want to try and get away from the enemy. Move first. Then a suppression recovery. We have no less than 2 wounded units, starting here with Greg. No, he does not recover. And then Hugo, actually I think Hugo's sort of free of suppression anyway because of his heroic morale modifier. He recovers his suppression whenever he's activated. So these guys are now safely in the woods, although that was a rather wasted suppression attempt, suppression recovery attempt. So that's the final one. Let's move this chap here again away. I'm trying to get them to come to me and so I can shoot, but because they're going to go into the cover, that's going to be challenging. Ideally we want them down here, so it's a bit more of a fair fight and we can leverage that powerful machine gun group we've got. Unfortunately the range is just a bit rubbish really on some of those guns. So let's pop him, actually let's put him into, do I want a group of 5 or do I want a group of 3 and 2? Let's put them all into a group of 5. They're all together now. That's our group phase at the start of turn 6. Rolling for actions. 3 actions including 1 bonus action. Let's try and, these are all one group now. Let's try to recover that suppression. Yep, he's good. Next one. He's good as well. Fantastic. Okay, full strength squad. I can shoot at him with a range of 2. Our light machine gun can attack. I'll use the bonus action to get the +1 modifier. So the +1, so 2 + 1 is 3, +1 for the base combat factor is 4, +1 for John being a veteran. No, still no damage. Okay. Final action. I think we'll add a cover marker, which will give us additional toughness. That's to cover the whole group. Right. So no enemy presence roll. But we do have a rifleman we need to do something with. On a roll of a 1, regroup, meaning he's going to simply go in with that group. That group will then activate, and on a roll of a 2, either rally, otherwise attack. There's nobody suppressed. They can't shoot, they can't hit anybody currently, so they're going to advance. And again, making use of the cover. This group on a 3, they will stay in cover, and finally the top group on a 2, they will attack, but they can't attack, so they're going to move forward under cover. Okay, turn 7. We'll get our off-map support next turn, so let's try and survive till next turn. 1 action. I'm going to spend the recon point to re-roll. Second action. Okay, cool. What can I do with that action? Right, I could hide. I I could use flanking fire, which is something I haven't done yet because that's actually 2 action points. It's very unusual to have spare action points. So if I was to create a fire group and then use flanking fire, that could allow me to damage one of those units inside that building. Flanking fire. Attack 1 target with a flanking fire. Bonus. Okay. It would only be a +1 DRM. Tell you what, let's use flanking fire. We'll use a fire group. So Fred, Greg and John will fire. Their combined fire will be 3 +1 +1. So that's going to be 5. So we need to roll a 3 or higher to injure any of those units in there. Roll a 3. And we will simply fire the one with the best weapon, which is going to be the rifleman, the submachine gunner rather, with the ID 10 number of letter of D. So that is 1 suppressed enemy, which is encouraging. But now we do need to roll to see what those units will do themselves. Okay, we're all, if they come onto this strike with us, we'll all be in cover because of the woods. We'll have an extra toughness because of the cover marker. But let's see what happens. So that first group, on a roll of a 2, will rally. So that may well have been a wasted flanking fire there, and no success though. This group, which was originally group number 3, and a 6, they will. It says they want to attack, so they're just going to have to move forward, leveraging the terrain. The group here then, which was originally group number 3, group number 1, sorry, has a 1, which will rally. Otherwise regroup. We don't have, I believe, the required number. There are actually only 2 units. They will regroup, but the question of course here is which one do they group with, this one or this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They group in with here. Okay, so that's now groups 1 and 3 in there. Okay, turn 8. Excellent, we now get some support. At the beginning of each turn we roll on the platoon coordination table, which is here, and we do hopefully get some support from off map. Okay, so we may get machine gun attacks, we may get rifle attacks, we may get additional actions, or we may even get additional units. Okay, so on the action table then, we rolled a 1, which is nothing. Massive anticlimax there. So, to the regular turn then. Oh, 1 action. Dreadful. I'll spend that 1 action to fire. Actually, with a 6 plus the 2, that's 8. We cannot actually do any damage. I really want to get the enemy out of the terrain, so let's move back. We come out of cover though doing that, but hopefully we will now only have a modifier of +1 for that group if they come into this terrain, meaning we could potentially even go in and then fire at a better advantage. Okay. Okay. Enemies then. On a roll of 3, that first group there will, no one's in range, so they will simply cover, stay where they are basically. And then our second group, which was originally groups 1 and 3, will stay in cover. Oh, they're hunkering down, waiting us out. Okay, turn number 9. Patrol table then, sorry, platoon table on a roll of a 3 Execute 2 rifle attacks against an enemy group in the highest numbered stripe. So that is this one. Rifle attacks then are going to do no good against enemies in buildings. Because the minimum you'll be needing is a roll of 7. Rifles only have a combat vector of 1. That's no good, is it? Okay, so what are we going to do with our actions? 2 actions. Okay, first action I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spend to regroup. Now that we've seen what's happening, we're on this stripe. I'm going to regroup again. This is in addition to the option to regroup during the first phase of the turn. So let's put all our machine gunners together. I'm not sure if that's sensible, but we'll pop our machine gunners into the same group. No, that's probably a bad idea, isn't it? Let's do it anyway. We can change our mind. There we go. We now have a group of 3 and a group of 2. That was one action. Second action, I'm going to place one guy into cover, and I'm going to place the leader and the machine gunners into cover. Enemies then, again, no presence check, but we do need to see what people will start doing. 6 and a roll of a 6. They want to attack, but they can't, so they're simply going to move into the woods. Okay, now that is good. We can start to do some damage to these guys now. We have enough firepower here to do damage, even when they have a +1 cover modifier. With a cover modifier of 2, that limits it quite significantly. Although our best weapons are still at range 0. Nevertheless, we have the opportunity to start doing some serious damage. A roll of 1, those guys up there basically stay where they are. Okay, right, so turn number 10. At platoon table, on a roll of a 4, we get additional actions, in the sense that we roll 4 action dice rather than 3, dropping the lowest number. Okay. So we drop the 2, we get 3 actions. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, because now we can move our machine gunners forward a bit. And I've just realised that what I should have done was kept them in the groups that I said originally and grouped the machine gunners together. Never mind. Let's move first this group here with just Hugo and Fred. Fred is a quick shot. Hugo has local contacts, so on a natural roll of a 5 or a 6, Fred will get a second turn, but he's a submachine gunner, so we will fire with him first, and we will fire at that suppressed unit, which is actually the submachine gunner. Okay. Submachine gunners have a base of 3, plus the 4 is 7. Even though we're in the woods, we have done damage to this guy, removing him. The rifleman then, hoping for a roll of, no, that's no good at all. So that's a move and fire. Finally then, form a fire group, fire with John and Greg into this group here. And that's going to mean a baseline of 3, because John is a veteran and he gets a +1. That's a 7. It doesn't really matter which one we injure. Mind you, that was group 2, wasn't it, mostly? And group 2, no, group 2 didn't have any grenades, so we'll just say that one is injured. Okie dokie. What is that group going to do? On a 2, they will rally because of the suppressed unit, and so 3+, yep, you're back at full strength. Unit up the top there, group up the top there even. On a 3, wants to attack, cannot attack, so in which case they will cover, so they will just sit there. They are going to wait us out, aren't they? Moving into turn number 11. That's a very good point. They're going to wait us out, and we've only got 3 turns, including this turn. And there's a bunch of soldiers. Unless we get something helpful from the platoon table, we have got a problem. So number 6, roll a die. On a 1 to a 4, we get some rifle units to support us. We do 2 new rifle units when I find them. Ed was deceased last time, so we will replace him with Eric, placing them in the highest numbered stripe. Okay, so that's going to be 6. So we have Eric and Billy in their own separate group. Actions then. 1 action. Oh my goodness, 1 action. Let's just group these guys together, have a big group. These ones then. On a roll of a 1, they will regroup. They cannot regroup, so they're simply going to go into cover. Or place a cover marker on them, because they're not in a feature, a terrain feature that is. Then the group at the top there. On a roll of a 3, again, nothing in range, so they're just going to sit there and wait us out. Right, which is probably a sensible thing to do, and let's face it, we've tried to do that as well. Turn number 12 then. Platoon table. On a roll of a 6, may even get some more guys. And a roll of a 3, 2 extra riflemen. So I'm running out of names off the top of my head, so I'm going to call them, oh, I don't know, Cliff and Dilbert. Why not? And action die. 3 actions. Okay, 3 actions. Three actions. These guys all have a toughness of 7 now due to the cover marker, so let's move and then we'll fire with those guys, creating a fire group, which is going to be 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. Oh wow, okay, so that's only a 4, so when you roll a 3 we're going to fire at, oh terrible, that's no good, is it? Okay, oh, let's move these guys up as well. Okay, these guys, what are they going to do? On a roll of a 4, that group will attack, and they will attack. Which of those groups will they attack? On a roll of a 6, they will attack the big group, which is this group. And on a roll of a 5, they will attack the higher toughness number, which is going to be our leader. And a roll of 1, the first one misses. On a roll of 5, there is a hit. No, there's not, because of the cover. And again, no damage. Group up there. Turn 13. Limited in what we can do here. I think our mission is going to come to an unfortunate end. We have a large group of enemy units in here on benefiting from a cover marker and a cover from the terrain. We have a large group of enemies here in a building. 1 turn is unlikely to be sufficient to eliminate them all, which is what we would need to do to win the game. So I'm just wondering if we need to learn to live to fight another day. But in order to do that, we would have to abort. Not done this yet in the whole campaign, but you can, if all your units are on level 6, stripe 6, and you spend an action point, you can abort, which isn't unfortunate, but at least our guys would get to fight another day. Okay, but first, of course, we do need to roll on the platoon table to see what happens from off map. On a roll of a 2, machine gun attack against these guys. Okay, who shall we direct our machine gun attack at? I think this one and this one. The light machine gun has an area effect, no damage for the first one, no damage for the second one. Wow, 2 1s, come on guys. So, group phase then. Let's just group our guys into one big unit. I'm pretty sure there's no limit on group size, unless I'm wrong, which wouldn't be the first time. Action points then. 1 bonus action point and an action point. So we'll spend our bonus to move, gaining us a recon point, and then we'll spend that action and we will abort the mission. Okay, that's the end then. The end of our mission to attack the front lines, the end of our Rifles in the Ardennes campaign. It has been a long campaign of ups and downs, trials and tribulations. We've lost a great many of our soldiers and some have come through to the end. In terms of end of campaign, admin and what have you, there's no, or at least not printed in the version of the rules that I've got here, there's no table or anything to tell you how you've done, or any kind of assessment, way to assess your performance or anything. However, I'm going to say with probably 5, top of my head, 5 of the 8 missions either lost outright or lost due to being timed out. I'm going to say we probably didn't do that well in the whole campaign, but at least some of our guys have lived to fight another day. I would like to think they'll get a nice well-earned rest back at base after this. But that is that from our point of view. Thank you for joining me. If you stuck with it throughout the entire series, thank you very much. If you just dropped in for this one, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll probably do a final thoughts video to summarise my thoughts on the campaign as a whole. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.